Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Oh, business is booming at assholeconsulting.com. We got a special, here, it's a military. You get a military discount if you're in the military. Not a big discount. I'm not, actually, you do get a pretty, I don't know, what is the average discount in military? It's not like GM's going to give you a 40% discount. I discount by about a third. I don't know, is that good? I mean, McDonald's, you get free coffee? I don't know. So, go to Cessna. Hi, I'd like my military discount of 40% off your fine, whatever the fuck Cessna makes, the highest level of plane ever. And we got a military guy. He has a question that is related to military people. So, this may be of benefit to many others of you. Hey asshole, repeat customer here. I'm the guy who had plans to save $100,000 during my military enlistment. That plan is going well thus far. I plan to stay in the military. In fact, I plan to use my future mechanical engineering degree to become an officer. There we go! There we fucking go! That is how you do it! So I wish I did it. Imagine that, I'd be a real captain. Anyways, after 3 years of service or ranking, 3 years of service, I think, of ranking to staff sergeant, the Air Force basically kicks you out of the dorms and gives you a basic allowance for housing instead. I have two opposing ideas and I want your opinions on them. Idea number one, buy a mid-size older model camper van, fix it up, and then live out of that. Idea number two, buy a decent-sized home and rent it out the other rooms, so much so that it'd be profitable. I've weighed the pros and cons of both, but I'm still not certain on which is the best. With the camper, I'd buy only a motorcycle. With a house, I'd buy a car and a motorcycle. A house is an investment as is, but the extra income that I'd receive from living in the camper would be invested in stocks, such via my Roth IRA and mutual fund account. I do like to travel. I'm still very much a minimalist. What are your thoughts? I also thought about your question. Well, we'll get to that. All right, let's address this thing. The problem that you're facing with, I'm not a big fan of owning property that you don't need, okay? I'm very reluctant towards that. But if your other option is to invest in a 401k, IRA, whatever, and invest in the stock market, well, you got to start looking at rates of return. Because your average dividend yield right now is 2%. Your average interest rate is like -4. It's just, there's just not the rates of return in the market. Now, this doesn't mean you can't find a decent high dividend yield paying mutual fund or real estate investment trust or stock or whatever. Some stocks, some dividend funds are paying like 5%. So, okay, that's a way to go. But you can usually find better rates of return on property, especially if you own it. Now, those rates of return aside, investing in property is a pain in the ass, especially rental property, because you got to manage it. And the paradox that I think many military men and women face is you're not there to fix it. Like, what if something goes wrong with it and you're stationed over in Fuckfuckistan, all right? Well, it goes to pod, and then people destroy it, water pipes freeze, whatever. There's a whole bunch of shit that can go wrong. So what I did is I called my buddy, a real captain, Captain Ben. And he has rental property, and he has multiple rental properties. And I said, hey, I know what I think about this. What has been your experience? And he says, basically, yes, it can be done, but do not buy more house than you can afford or you need. And don't buy multiple ones, okay? He said he knew some people who did multiple ones, and, they're at this base, and then they buy a property there. They're at that base, they buy a property there. And yeah, if done right, they got themselves a portfolio. They retire after the 20 years, they get their fucking pension, then they got the fucking rental income on top of it because it's all been paid off. So what I would do, what I'm recommending is you start off small and you start off wise. You do your research. You have to, not you should, or you really ought to. You have to buy the right house. And there's a ton of things that can go wrong with it. For example, if you're stationed up north, say you're up in Duluth, you got to worry about frozen pipes. That can completely destroy your entire house. If you rent it out to some dipshit PFC and they don't know anything. They just flush shit down the toilet and all that other crap. So it depends on where you are. I would prefer that you be down south, Phoenix, I don't know where you're stationed, but someplace where the elements are not going to destroy the house. You don't have to worry about frozen pipes. You don't have to worry about whatever. And that it's relatively, and the other thing is it's new construction. The newer the better, because you don't have to worry about the foundation cracking, or out here in Minnesota, there's still some houses with like wood siding, and that's got to be painted all the time. You don't want a fancy house. You want a durable, small house that will provide lodging for you and your tenants. Okay. The other thing is your tenants. I would say stay by the military base because you're always going to have demand. But as my good friend Captain Ben, he says that there's usually the housing or the neighborhoods around a military base are shit. So try to find the rare diamond in the rough of a good neighborhood by a military base. All right, and it can also be. It doesn't have to be like this pristine fucking, Edina or North Oaks, which is a fancy neighborhood south of me anyway. It doesn't have to be that. It just has to be good enough. I mean, obviously your tenants would likely be fellow military members, hopefully reliable ones. Not to say that there's a correlation between officers, but you don't want some fucking dipshit 18-year-old who's partying it up. But, if you can rent to a middle-aged major or colonel who, is really clean, that'd be good. So take your time, do background checks. You got to do all the shit you do before. The other thing, look at property taxes. You don't want to. I know California is a wonderful state. It's just wonderful because the beaches and the women and the weather, and that doesn't matter. That moots everything else, especially getting fucked up the ass in taxes. So I would not invest in California. But look at rental property taxes. Look at what's happened in the past. Does it keep going up? Because that's great if property taxes are $100 a month, but 3 years from then, if it's $1,000 a month, you can only charge $500 because the dipshit liberals that run the fucking town brought in a bunch of fucking free housing or whatever and depressed the rental market. There's all these variables you will have to go and analyze to find and make sure you get the right type of house. Okay. Finally, do your financial projections. Go download a rental analysis spreadsheet. They're out there, where you plug in not just your income and your mortgage, but you include things like maintenance and repair, insurance, taxes, and all this other shit that people don't think about, right? And what you will do after you do your financial analysis, after you do your neighborhood analysis, after you make sure you're going to get good tenants, and then you look at the houses and you make sure that it's good construction and there's not going to be a lot of repairs and it's almost idiot-proof. It can't be fucked up. Then you go ahead, you buy it, put yourself some good quality tenants in there, and then it will hopefully, not hopefully, you will have done the financial analysis to make sure that the rent is covered and that you're not subsidizing people to live there. Not only does the rent cover all the expenses, it also provides you a profit at the end. And then you buy your rental property. And then maybe if you do that one right and you got a better and more keen trained eye for it, maybe you might start thinking about other rental properties, but don't be in a rush. Okay. Now we also talked behind closed doors about you want to go fly around. You don't want to be stationed in the same base. You still want to go and you don't mind traveling. Okay. Make sure that this is not on your fucking mind. So the final thing I'd want you to do is see if you don't have like a good buddy or somebody who is staying at base or who is in the neighborhood that could kind of check in on it. You can pay for someone to be a property manager. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you can do that. But it's better if you just got a friend like someone who's like, oh, if there's a problem, call this guy because I'm over again in Fuckfuckistan. Right? So do all your homework up front. You don't want to be thinking about, boy, I gotta really place this sniper shot real. Oh, did he pay rent? And then you shoot your CO instead of the terrorist, and then you're in trouble. You don't want to worry about that shit while you're halfway around the world. So go ahead. Those are just my thoughts. Best of luck. Toodles.